Hi there. I know it's been a while since I've done my last video. And, well, I did try shooting a couple of videos in between, but I was never happy with the fact that I didn't seem to have a clear view of what I was going to talk about. I guess it's kind of like a paraphrase of an old Ansel Adams quote about nothing worse than a sharp image of a fuzzy concept. Well, my concepts were a bit fuzzy. So right now, though, I do have something simple to talk about. I have been basically bemoaning the fact that I have had, at various times, severe cases of gear acquisition syndrome. My gas has come and gone many times. I claimed to have been cured, and then the Sony came along, and all of a sudden the cure was gone. But over the past few days, I've made a couple of decisions that I'm going to try and hold out to. No guarantees. I am not going to claim to be one of great willpower, because I'm not. But the only thing I was really effective at was quitting smoking. I did that in overnight, literally, many years ago. All right, so where does that leave me now? Well, it leaves me right here. Right now, this is being shot on a Sony a6300 with a Viltrox 23mm f1.4 lens. A combination that I really like. As a result, what I have done is packed up a camera, a set of batteries for the camera, a charger for the batteries, and 4 lenses into a bag. They are a generation or two older. They're not the latest and greatest. However, I have a tendency that I learned from my mother of taking your old gear out to use in order to take care of the good stuff. Which, when I think about it, is really the exact opposite of what I should be doing. I should be using my best gear and have any extraneous gear as backup. Something that'll throw in the back of a bag that will be there in case something breaks. I wasn't doing that. So now I'm forcing myself into it. Now, what have I put in the bag? Basically, the Sony NEX6 and the manual focus lenses. They are a lot of fun, but right now I want to concentrate more on composition and on what I'm shooting, on subject matter, on theme, and spend a little less time just fiddling with gear. Okay, that's the first step. So now I have this little bag. Okay, this is not going to be what I've got in my bag thing, but I am going to tell you what's in it anyway. This can hold the camera that's filming right now. It can also hold the 51.8 OSS NEX lens. It can hold the 30mm f3.5 macro lens and the 16mm f2.8 for any time when I need something a little bit wider. In other words, the entire kit, and spare batteries, and memory cards, and even a charger cord for the camera. So, that is my simplified gear. If I'm going to go for a walk, usually it's in areas where there's a little bit of wildlife at times, I will take my Olympus with the 14-150 lens. Sort of taking a page from Jay Mazel's book. Basically, Mazel would go out with a camera. He called it going out empty because he didn't go out with any specific image in mind. On that camera, he would, even though the camera itself was usually a top spec pro model, on the camera would be a super zoom lens. And he was not averse to cranking up the ISO As he once said, people who shoot at low ISOs all the time have great files, but often lousy pictures. So instead, he kept it simple. I think he used a 28-300 lens quite often on a full-frame Nikon. Well, I'm using a 14-150, which is the same range on my Micro Four Thirds Olympus. And it's great. I take it with me. If there's nothing to shoot, then I shoot nothing. If I see something interesting, I have a range of focal lengths to capture it. And if I have to crank up the ISO and things get a little noisy, hopefully they'll clean up in post-processing enough to at least be reasonable for online sharing, if not for prints. So guys, to backtrack, my camera gear is simplifying only because I have locked away a lot of it. The stuff that's locked up in a case downstairs is going to stay there for, I promised myself 6 months. I said if I don't need to take that out in the next 6 months, then I'm selling it. Now somebody might say, well, do you want a backup body for your Sony kit? Well, yes, I do, but I'm saving towards another higher spec model, another newer model. You know, maybe if I can manage it, maybe an A6400, but if not, maybe an A6100. Just something that has a modern autofocus system and that will act as my backup camera. So guys, I'm still a long way from calling myself a minimalist, but at least I think I've made more sense of my gear by making a very sensible decision I should have made years ago. And that is, if you have a choice of cameras, always take your best. Leave behind the gear that acts as a backup or that's there just in case. I mean, it can go in a bag and go in the trunk of your car or whatever, but make sure that the one that's in your hand is indeed the best quality you can manage, or the most appropriate for the particular situation. This kit that I'm looking at here right now is great for most things, but the fact is that on my walk, I want a longer lens. I want more flexibility. So would I take this camera on my walk? Only if I was walking around downtown. It's a great street photography kit, but for out in the wilderness or out on a trail, no, I want something that allows me to get a little more reach. Okay, folks, I know I'm waffling along now, as I often do near the end of my videos, where I just keep repeating myself or coming up with some less than ideal addition to tack on to the end of the video. So let's forget all that. If you want to see some of my my written work as well as a list of my videos, it's also available. I have a blog spot site. It is AIC Photography. So if you go searching for AIC Photography, you may find yourself at that blog. Some of my written pieces are there. Remember that this video isn't scripted per se. I have in my mind what I want to say, but I haven't written any of it down because I'd really end up having to read it, because I'm not going to go memorizing things, even the things that I've written myself. So if you want to see some of my written work, you can, if you dig down deep enough, find it. My blog is unfortunately right now crammed full of all of my YouTube video links. But if you dig down, if you drill down, you will find some written words. Meanwhile, I hope everybody is staying safe. I hope things are going well. I hope you are getting the opportunity to get out there and take pictures. And I hope you're making the most of the gear that you have and not spending all your time wishing for something new. I've been there. It's not pretty. Well, If you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to see more of my videos, then of course subscribe to this channel. And if you know of anybody who maybe needs to reevaluate their gear, then share this video. Well, bye for now.